Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, the Big and Furry Bovine, and we're starting a little early today because, well, the life has painted me a different picture today, and my schedule is such that I really want to do this show, but starting it at 5 wasn't quite going to make it. So I figure the vast majority of people who watch this program are going to be watching it on archive, which is all well and good. And if you want to join me in the chat room, that's great. And if you're not available, I certainly understand. This is going to be and serve as a Browns pregame and Guardians pregame show as important games. Truth shall set you free. I'm here. I'm here. The one person who's here. uh, well, wait a minute here. Did I not put the maybe? Yeah, I thought I did on the YouTube link. Didn't I put in? Yeah, you can just. I know I'm on too early, but I tweeted it a couple of times, and that's it's not like I could afford a billboard on Interstate 480 up here. But yeah, and on the YouTube link, you can click on that and you can be transported right into the studio if you so desire. And hello to Christopher Milton. How you doing? Good to see you here too. And the diehards are out, man. The diehards. Let's start where we need to begin. Jack Conklin will be active versus the Eagles for the first time since the 2023 opener. But there's more to it than that. Let's bring Stephen Rose in here. Hey, Stephen, how you doing, my man?
Doing all right. I'll go ahead and let you continue your talking. I just want to say Guardians pulled off an amazing comeback the other day.
We'll get that in a little bit in the show because I'm dedicating lots of time to that as well. The while Jack Conklin is going to be active, the thing that makes it a little bit weird is that Kevin Stefanski declined to say what his role will be. He might have a little skirt on with pom-poms. I have no idea what his role is going to be. I assumed it was to play fucking football. But you see, when they come back from the Browns, no, they don't necessarily play. They just kind of, maybe they play one play, then they roll on the ground in agony, and no, most of our players are day to day, Ron. Everybody else seems to be just fine. And we'll be talking about that for a minute and a little bit in a few minutes about why our players are always injured and other teams have injuries, but not every single player on their fucking team. And we'll get to that as well. So while Kevin Stefanski did say that we all have to be better, or did he say we all have to eat butter? I'm not sure exactly what he said because he said it so many times. I stopped listening. But several key Browns players are out for this game, including Grant Delpit and Ronnie Hickman. And if that doesn't mean anything to you, we don't have any safeties. That's right. We have no safeties whatsoever because Juan Thornhill is injured. We have no safeties. Ethan Posek is out again, or as I put it, again, because he is a Pentecostal and he rolls on the ground, but he doesn't snap footballs. So he's been ruled out. Denzel Ward came back to practice wearing a skirt and pom-poms, but he is listed as questionable. Rookie defensive tackle Mike Hall Jr. will be active after bitch slapping somebody. So that's really something to look forward to. Yeah, buoy. Now, here's the problem that I have. Hey, Andrew, working on the garden. Yeah, that's good. Listening to my wisdom, don't let the plants here. They will not grow. That is, if you want a green thumb, don't mention Mr. Moohead. That's cud chewer. Not good. The Browns, of course, really need Ward on the field because they don't have good coverage people. And two, Because the Eagles are suddenly healthy for the Browns. Now, this is another thing that seems to be the case. If you want to get healthy, just take a look and circle the week that you're playing the Cleveland Browns, and voila, all of your injuries will go away. It's a remarkable thing. You see, A.J. Brown had a hamstring and Devontae Smith had a concussion, but they're both back, of course. Brown for the first time since the opener against the Packers. When both receivers were sidelined, the Eagles lost 33-16 to the Buccaneers. But this week, with them and right tackle Lane Johnson back, the Eagles are 9.5-point favorites to beat the lowly Browns.
Maybe they should have spotted the Browns a little bit more.
Look, Browns don't have a chance in this game. The Browns don't have a chance as an organization. I'm doing this because I feel like doing it. So not because I have any belief in the team.
So is this game over by the end of the first quarter or by halftime like last week?
Over now. This team isn't ready to play, and they don't want to play. It's kind of obvious.
So who's the starting quarterback for the Browns?
Starting running back? Who cares? None of them. I mean, you could have a whole, I shouldn't say that, the size of Melania Trump's, and they would not find their way through it. Okay?
Ouch.
Ouch is right. She don't feel nothing. And she doesn't have to worry because she has a thimble going into her every now and then at the White House. All right. Let's see what's next. Major League Baseball moved the Guardians game. I don't know if you know this, but they were going to play it at 8:08 p.m.
Okay.
But Major League Baseball got worried about the weather in Cleveland. Hi, I'm Dick Goddard, and I just want to say fuck you to Major League Baseball. They could have consulted me. I'm an expert. But no, they just moved the game to 1:08 in the afternoon. And you know why. If you were here, like I am, it's going to be so fucking cold. And on the lake, really fucking cold. And no runs would be scored. And you'd have Skubal pitching, and he'd be throwing darts, and guys hitting the ball as hard as they could and popping out to shortstop. So Major League Baseball said, not enough runs. We're just going to move it to 1 o'clock, and we're going to see if we can get more action in this series. Yeah, that's the way it works. And to make matters even worse, you silly bastards out there, the ALDS Guardians and Tigers Game 5 tickets are still available for under $107.
Whoa.
Oh, that's right. You could just get under $107 ticket right now to see the Guardians.
That is not bad.
In Game 5.
It's not bad.
And that means there are seats. That means that people are not interested. And you know why? They're winning. That's why. They're doing good. People in Cleveland don't want good. They want, I want to complain about Deshaun Watson. I want to complain about Kevin Stefanski. Oh, God, I want to complain about this. And, I got lung cancer. I'm going to die. Oh, God. That's what they want. And I don't know why they want it.
Well, move ahead, enjoy it now, because if they go to the ALCS, I can just imagine how much those tickets are going to be on the cheap end.
Well, here's the deal. The Guardians and the Tigers are playing specifically a Game 5 to decide which team is going to get ripped off against the Yankees, okay? Let's be clear about this. There is and I'm not sure which umpire it was. He's the guy who was behind home plate, who was insisting on calling strikes for every pitch the Tigers pitcher threw, and the same pitch were balls for the Guardians pitchers. And I'm going to start out doing Brown stuff, but I want to get this just out of me. And then when that same son of a bitch was the umpire at third base, he was saying our guys were swinging at pitches when they were checking their swing. So look out. That guy is being paid. I'm just telling you, he's a dishonest person. So at any rate, you can get a great deal on tickets because people aren't all that excited. As far as the Browns, will start out the pregame this way. The Browns, as it is, can't stop a forward pass, even if they wanted to. And now, with all their safeties gone, we're going to be dependent upon mighty midget Newsom. Which way am I going? Emerson and Denzel. I'm not feeling well. Ward. All right. The reason that there is a decline in the Browns cornerback play is because the whole team's depressed. They don't want this. They don't want to play for these people. Do you understand? They're risking their life and their limb, and they don't want to do it. Emerson's better than this. We've seen this. And Newsom has just dropped off since he came in his first year. Dropped off. These players are not going to stop the receivers of Philadelphia in Philadelphia. It ain't going to happen.
The Eagles also coming off a bye too. So
I'm sorry.
The Eagles are coming off a bye too. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, they're healthy. Yeah. I mean, anybody who allowed themselves to be bitch slapped by the Commanders, you don't need to ask any questions. If they couldn't even confuse Jaden Daniels, they're not going to confuse anybody. So just be prepared for the onslaught that's coming. You wacky Browns fans who really want to revel in it like a pig rolls in mud. You want this crushing defeat. You asked for it. You got it, Toyota. No what?
No, I said you're right.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be horrible. Here's another headline from Cleveland.com. How bad is the Browns offense right now?
Jeez.
This is the kind of negative headline I love. So I give it an equally negative response. How bad is the Browns offense right now? It smells worse than MKC's hoo-ha. That's how bad the offense is right now in Cleveland. Do you know that when he first came to Cleveland, the Browns were averaging 26 points a game in Deshaun Watson's first year in Cleveland with the Kevin Stefanski offense? And since they've morphed into the, I don't know what the fuck it is offense, they're down to 16 points a game. And the truth of the matter is, for people who say, well, Deshaun never put any points on the scoreboard, they're fucking liars. They're just a bunch of people like politicians who will make shit up just to make shit up. They're averaging 26 points a game until he got hurt. All right. That's the fact, Jack. Now it's 16 points, and it ain't pretty at all. You can say whatever you want about the Browns offense. You cannot say that it's electric. You can't say that it's sustainable.
Nope.
They can't keep the ball for first downs. They have no running game. And how many points per game? 15.8 points per game. I've known high school teams who've done a lot better than that. Rush yards per game, 96.6.
Damn.
At least they're not running a fever. The red zone scoring attempts per game. How many red zone scoring attempts have they had? 1.6. That's last in the league. They can't get down the field. They never end up in the red zone. As a matter of fact, the offensive plan, the game plan, Stefanski had a stroke, I think, and he thought red zone was a bad place to be because it had connotations of the devil. And so he did not think it was a good place to be. So he designed an offense that never got to the red zone. You know something, Christopher, what is the offense? What is life, my friend?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what nobody knows what the players don't know what the offense is, for goodness sakes. You're going to say, oh, Mr. Moohead's being ridiculously negative. No, they're just a bad team. They weren't prepared to play from the very beginning. They weren't prepared. The players who were hurt didn't work hard enough to come back. New players got hurt because we need a whole bunch of new trainers who know what in the hell they're doing because they're training people wrong. It can't be like this year after year. They're destroying players' careers.
Yeah.
Right? It's just incredible. Run blocking grade. All right. 31st in the league, 52.9 rating. Pass blocking grade, 49.3. That's 29th of the league. Now, doesn't that tell you that we have no offensive line? Well, it should. And will you ever know if any running back would ever be any good? No, because we have no offensive line. And we didn't even have Njoku, who is our best blocker for almost all of these games as far as tight end is concerned. So the bottom line there is, why put Nick Chubb in? Why even consider bringing him back?
Right.
It's just unreal. Among the qualifying blockers for the Browns, Wyatt Teller has played 3 games and ranks first with a 65.5 rating. Jedrick Wills, a 65.7, and it's really weird that the Browns were first in both run blocking at an 81.4 and pass blocking 86.5 during the 2020 season. This has gone downhill. Everybody knows what Kevin Stefanski is going to do. Everybody knows it's not new. It hasn't changed. It's never going to change. And let me explain what happened at Kevin Stefanski's press conference. Somebody asked him the magic question. How big is your penis? No, the magic question, which was, are you considering handing the play calling over to Ken Dorsey? And that's when the only time Kevin Stefanski starts looking like Don Knotts, Sheriff Andy's deputy. And finally he just said, no, there's been no thought. No, I won't do it. And he turned into the fucking devil. That's the most animated I have seen Kevin Stefanski. It's like, no, I'm not giving that up. I'll never give that up. Never. You'll never pry it out of my cold, dead fingers.
Even if we're 1 in 15, it'll never happen, you motherfuckers.
Exactly. Then his head spins around like the Exorcist, baby. Absolutely.
You're down 70-0, and Stefanski, hey, you want to go ahead and get the play call in Dorsey? I'll never, ever give it. It don't matter what the scoreboard says, boy.
Now, do you know that their grades decreased year by year? All the way from 2020 to 2023, and then the bottom fell out at 2024. You know why? Because the same people were there. They were old and injured and less capable, and the scheme was figured out. So this is not something that you just woke up to and you saw for the first time. This is something that was already happening. So all the people who want to say, oh, but what about Joe Flacco? Oh, what about all the and all the noise that they make and no words come out? It had nothing to do with any of that. This team has been in decline, and it's because the head coach refuses to change anything, and everybody knows what he's going to do and what he thinks that if he just keeps writing it on the board over and over again, he's doing the old Vince Lombardi X and O thing. Well, the NFL has become way more sophisticated than that, and he's not the smartest man in the room. That's for damn sure. Even though he probably thinks he is, only a person who's not thinks they are. Okay? That's just the way it is.
Mr. Moulet, it seems like there's a lot of different egos and personalities in Cleveland, isn't there?
Yeah, and I've seen them all, believe me.
Haslam's, the Shorts.
Yeah, we've had Huey Jackson, David Blatt for the Cavaliers. He was a great one. because what he wanted more than anything was to find himself a woman. That's what he was interested in. And he liked certain types of women. Let's just say that kind of like Captain Kirk and Uhura. Wait, I got something in my eye. He liked those types of women. Oh, yeah. David Blatt was, and just as smug as they came. And he was another Ivy League boy. That's the way they make them there. So what I can tell you is that he's never going to change his ways, Stefanski. And third down conversion rate at 18%. That's last in the league. Do you remember when it was like, hey, he drew up a good play? They've seen every one of his trick plays. You understand? He can't create new ones because he's daft. He's stupid. He's dumb. He's stubborn. In past seasons, they were above 30% in that third down conversion rate. But they've been able to do a damn thing. And part of that, of course, is they have no offensive line. But all of it in the end comes down. It all comes down. There's a big shit ball on top of the hill and it rolls down. The guys who get fired are at the bottom of the hill. And the people who are at the top of the hill, Jimmy Haslam, it's like Plato's aristocracy, for God's sakes. It's like they're above everybody in the city and the mountain. And everybody below gets shit on.
Well, it's him and Paul DiPotesta and, the front office. So
now, the average third down, if you're wondering about third down conversion rate and why it's so damn low, the average yards to go for the Cleveland Browns is 8.95 yards. That's right. 3rd and 9. That's the average third down. That's just, you would have to be, I don't know how I would put this, the Louisville Leopards in Louisville, Ohio. You would have to be a high school team to be that bad. These are boys playing against men. It's unbelievable. How could you have an average third to go, an average yards to go of 9? That means it took you 2 downs to get 1 yard. How is that? And that's for a whole season so far.
Yeah.
How can that be? But it is.
That goes back to that question about how bad the offense is.
Quarterback sacks allowed, 26. That's first in the league. Hey, we're first in something. He's the only quarterback who's been sacked more than 20 times. So we're far ahead in this category. God almighty. How about first in the league in dropped passes? Damn. It makes you wonder, the receiving coach, what's his name? Chad Buttfucker? What's his name? Nobody knows what he's doing there, and he's never been any good, and everybody drops passes when he's around. And how he was the only one to survive on the coaching staff, so he must be Stefanski's butt boy. That's all I can tell you. They bring in all new receivers, and they all drop passes. No matter which ones they bring in, they drop passes.
Damn, it's like what they call those gypsies when they put a curse on you. Maybe they put a curse on Jimmy Haslam from stealing from those truck drivers, and now he's paying it.
And Deshaun Watson is last in his production score. Okay, what they do is they rank the quarterbacks in the league. All kinds of metrics. This is an analytics thing. And Watson is dead last, including 30th in accuracy, 31st in decision-making. Oh, which way did he go? Oh. And 32nd in pocket management. The only thing he could do in the pocket is pull his dick out. That's apparently what his pocket management has been. It's just so depressing. And do you really think that the game's going to go by and Saquon Barkley isn't going to bust a huge run? You bet he is.
Yep.
You bet he is. He is salivating at the prospect.
So it's like a practice game for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just an easy way to make them feel good about themselves. Oh, and by the way, James Hudson III has shoulder surgery. You know something? That's good. I consider that to be a positive. James Hudson III doesn't know how to play football. And the bottom line is that's one less offensive lineman that we will have for the rest of the year. And I want them all to retire and be done. I want all of the practice squad people to play so we lose every game left on the schedule and get picks. Okay? That's all I want at this point.
Tank season. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Might as well. I mean, what do we have to play for at this point, you know?
No, there's nothing that I know of. And Njoku says, you know, that he's going to play against the Eagles, but for how long? And as if that's not enough, you can say, well, if we just played good defense and we just try to keep it close, ... Rex Sunuhara is prepared to step in at long snapper. That's right. Hewley, the guy who has been long snapping for the Browns since Hector was a pup, he's hurt. He's got a rib injury. So now we bring in Rex Sunuhara. Sounds like a guy from Hawaii 5-0. He hasn't played an NFL game in his fucking life. So if you see a snap going over the punter's head, you'll know who airmailed it. If you're wondering why the field goal timing won't be right, Rex Sunuhara. Just remember the name. And just remember, it's just another practice squad player. This great headline: Joel Bitonio hungry for a win over the Eagles. We want to be urgent. You are urgent. You're urgently in need of help. There's no other urgency on the Cleveland Browns. You know, it's just hilarious.
So, Mr. Moohead, what do you got for the score for this game, just for shits and giggles?
Oh, the Browns are going to win.
I mean, do the Browns?
No, I'm kidding.
Do they cover the spread or what? The 9 points? Do you think they cover it?
No. The Browns. If I had to guess what the score is going to be, I would say 41-13.
I call 44-16.
Yeah, they're just going to get their asses thwacked, and they will quit again. And I'll lay down in the midfield logo and start playing with themselves. I have no idea.
And half of the half of that score is going to come in garbage time, you know.
And if you don't believe in anything else, the headline says, well, the Browns are focused on bringing physicality against the Eagles defense. Now, that's got to be funny as hell. They got no offensive line. They have no passing game, and they have receivers who can't catch the ball. What kind of physicality are you going to bring against Vic Fangio's defense? Give me a fucking break. Enough of that shit. Enough of that shit.
The over-under is 43.5, Amsterdam said.
And, yeah, well, believe
I'll
me.
take the over.
The Eagles, go over. Go over.
Yeah, I'm going over because the Eagles alone are going to cover that. So,
and Fangio is a too high shell defensive coordinator. So what the Browns can't figure out, they're going to continue not figuring out, and the pass rush is going to crush Deshaun Watson, who shouldn't be playing but is being forced to play, and he doesn't want to stop. And Stefanski won't consider putting in Jameis Winston. I hope Jameis Winston breaks into Kevin Stefanski's home and steals his crab legs. That would piss off any Ivy League guy. Oh, my goodness. I was so looking for that crab cocktail. Honey, what happened to the crab legs? Make it stop. So at any rate, nobody picks the Browns to win, by the way. So it isn't just here. Now, it's halfway through the show. So let's talk about a team that has a chance at least to win. I wanted to kind of go back and, the fact that there are still tickets available for under $107 for the Guardians game, game 5 in Cleveland. And the fact that it's not sold out will tell you that nobody has an interest because they're winning and people just want to be butthurt and want to lose. The game yesterday was an incredible win. I honestly thought that it was going to be over. I got to tell you the truth. The Tigers looked like they were getting all the breaks. And I don't mean umpire breaks. I mean little looping fly balls off the end of their bat were finding grass in the outfield. 3 men surrounding, and the ball would drop because nobody could get to it. And it kept happening. We had a chance to open up a bigger lead. Guy whacks the ball. Jimenez whacks a ball. The second baseman's he dives and he's not even got his eye on the ball. It ends up in his glove and he throws him out at first base. And then the opposite field home run by McKechnie or whatever the hell his name is, that just kept flying and went over the fence. And it was like you could just see things slipping away. And the game was in Detroit. And it was like, and all I could think of was Scooble doing that little gesture to the Cleveland fans, that little cocksucker. This, if I were rich man, what does it mean? I have no idea.
Well, Johnny Manziel did the same thing. Money.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what it was. I don't know what it was, but he should stop doing it because it's stupid. When Josh Naylor rocked the baby against the Yankees, everybody said, "Oh, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. You don't do that to the historic New York Yankees." This guy's going like that, go ahead, do it in front of the Cleveland crowd. We love it when you piss the Cleveland crowd off. But something funny happened in this game just yesterday. Something funny happened. We were the team that had the one swing of the bat. They won a game on one swing of a bat by Carpenter and off Class A 0-0 game and one swing of the bat. But the Guardians did 2 things that were remarkable in this game. One thing they did was David Fry hitting a home run over the left field wall. That was that. But the second thing was more significant to me. I've watched this team play all season. And the one thing I could say is the reason they would win is they rattled people, man. They'd always take extra bases. Let's bring the Moose in here.
The Moose is loose.
And here's John Grassoff as well. Hi there. But there was
the Guardians.
Yeah, but this one thing, man, it was like I watched all year. They would swipe bases and they would make teams panic and they would move runners in different ways. They would find more ways to get runs across the plate because they don't have great thunder in their lineup at the plate. But man, right when they needed it most, and it's like this whole series, why aren't we running? Why aren't we stealing? Why aren't we even trying when we're getting on base? We're running station to station, first to second. We're not even trying to go to third. Why? Why is this all stopped? And it all changed in game 4. We finally got a hit to right field, and Rocchio made it from first to third. And then he's on third, and Fry's got the bat in his hands, and they're like, oh, not this guy again. The same Fry who looked great in the first half of the season, just like Kwan looked great in the first half of the season. And now Kwan was hitting again. Fry hitting again, and he sacrifices himself like Christ. He sacrifices himself by dropping a bunt up the first baseline, and it made him panic. The goddamn pitcher comes off the mound, and it's like, no, and
They
it was
didn't
like,
know what to do.
no, and he tries to flip it home, and Rocchio gets his hand in first.
Just in there.
Yep. And it was like, oh, that's a thing of beauty, man. That's the way you play loose when you need to.
Yep.
Oh, man. And that's on the road. And did you hear what it sounded like in Detroit?
Wah, 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 wah. It looked like the Surrender Cobra in Detroit after
You
that.
know, all you could hear in Detroit was Donald Trump down the road saying, Detroit started to look like a third world country. That's all you could hear.
Yeah.
Silence, man. Silence in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm sitting there at home. You know what I'm doing? I'm going like this. I'm going like this. And I don't even know what the fuck it means. But I'm saying to Scooble, now you got to pitch game 5. You better have this kind of stuff, buddy, or the people in Cleveland are going to start throwing things at you. Batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your batteries to the park. Why not? We may not be able to hit him, at least our players, but the fans, you can. Batteries,
you're not
man.
advocating that.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You want to know
Yes,
why?
you are. Why?
Because
Why?
the headlines on ESPN, you know what it said? New York Yankees clinch their, the finals in the American League. Guardians survive.
Hang on. Yeah, we
hang on.
We hang on or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, something, bring the batteries, bring your Everetties. And
oh yeah.
We
can't hit, but we can hit in a different way.
Remember Bottlegate.
I'll tell you my view of that game last night, because pretty much like today I was asleep. So had a nap, and I woke up right before the David Fry home run. So I saw the David Fry home run, and then I saw the Screws play that made it 5-3 and allowed Clase that extra run that he needed. Now, the Tigers have figured out how to be patient and how to hit Clase. So he's given up 4 runs to the Tigers when he's like given up like 8 runs the entire season or some ridiculous amount. They figured him out. So why can't the Guardians figure out Screwball or Scrotum or whatever his name is?
Screwball. He has a real good disguised windup, I guess. He's got a real good live fastball.
You can't see the ball. It's the spin off the ball.
I guess.
I get that.
He's a really good pitcher, and I just didn't like that shit. He didn't need to do that. But
and anyway, I was asleep today too, and I heard this notification and saw that you were on early. And I had a question that I want Dwayne Stat to answer. Like, what happened to your stadium, Dwayne? I mean, my God. Yeah.
You've heard of the expression underwater. You know something?
Yep.
I've created a new business, which is pontoon rides throughout the greater Tampa Bay area. This is going to work.
Well, you got big airboats like General Ben, like General Ben and the airboat.
The Everglades boats. Yeah. No, I mean, and thank you for those who asked about the safety of my home, my abode.
Yeah, I was worried about Dickie B's walk-in closet. Has his walk-in closet got more water in it, or what?
I'll tell you something. It's a swim-out closet now. Oh, baby, let me tell you something. I didn't need to take a shower. I just went swimming in the living room, baby.
You need a lot of diapers to clean it up, huh?
Oh, I mean, no. Wow. For those people who live in Florida or know, a lanai is a screened-in porch that every home in Florida in the back has a lanai. Our lanai was structurally damaged from the high wind.
Wow.
I mean, it was ripped
By the winds, yeah.
Not just the screens. I mean the actual metal, the whole thing.
The metal got bent in or bent out or
and crushed.
wow.
Like, to the ground. Down, down, down to the ground. Yep.
So did you get flooding up there? Or you're up in the hill probably.
Oh,
anyway.
no. I don't live in Kevin Stefanski's neighborhood. No, I do not.
No, you didn't get flooded.
No, but I mean, there are just a lot of tree branches down. But, unfortunately, of the neighbors beside me, mine was the only lanai that got crushed like that. But you see, I feel kind of lucky because I was here.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to sleep through that shit at 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and my house coming apart at the seams. I didn't have to try to sleep through that.
We kind of dodged a bullet here. We didn't get it square in the face like we should have, but the carport collapsed around my car. I saw the whole roof go by my lanai, and I knew that I was screwed. But I just got a couple nicks and dings, but it could have been a whole lot worse. The storm could have been a whole lot worse, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and that's really the best assessment you could make, is that under the circumstances, this wasn't nearly as bad.
No,
it
got knocked down to like the category 2 by the time, because the bottom broke off of the storm.
That didn't help the surge people, though. The people who are on the coast, anywhere from Port Charlotte on up.
But it was high tide, so it didn't matter anyway.
Well, you tell that to people. You haven't seen. You just take a look at the video of what's happened down Siesta Key and south of there.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Yeah, it went down to Naples. The surge. The point I like the serious point I'd like to make is that tornadoes are the same whether they're in Ohio or Florida, and that's what will really fuck up a property is tornadoes. So that's the thing that people really want to not be under or involved.
Oh yeah,
in.
and there was tornado sightings in Florida.
There's loads
the
of
whole
tornadoes.
9 yards. Yeah, and Amsterdam is saying. I don't think it's insane that Class A has given up 4 earned runs in 2.5 innings, because they're bringing him in early. They're taking out the guy Gaddis. They're not letting him complete the 8th inning.
Yeah, they don't trust him.
And so I don't know. I mean, it's sheer. The guy throws everything 100 miles an hour, man, including a cutter, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
and his arm's going to give out. It's just a matter of time. So that doesn't surprise me. And
they're seeing him so much that they're figuring out the movement on his pitches. So,
and I think that well, with him, it's fastball, cutter, slider.
Yeah.
And the cutter is 100, the fastball is 100, the slider is 90. Okay. So it's faster. That's kind of the way it works.
I'm glad Dwayne and Dickie V are okay. I didn't want anything to happen to them.
No,
but
nothing.
Only Florida's stupid enough to have like a staging post in a fucking stadium that the roof's going to blow off in. I mean, how idiotic is that? I mean, come on. Jeez. But anyway.
Yeah. DJ Brobot, it's Schubel. What? Schloopel.
Scrotum.
Schloopel sounds like somebody from Fiddler on the Roof.
Sloopy.
My friend Schloopel says to me, "You want this? You want that?" Yeah. It is not. Schloopel.
Oh, maybe they should start singing "Hang On, Scrooble" when he's pitching tomorrow. Yeah.
God.
There you go. Did they change the time of the baseball game?
Yes, they did.
I think they have.
108 from 8:08 p.m. to 1:08 in the afternoon.
Oh, they fucking heard me. They said, "Fuck this! I'm not watching a game from 1 o'clock in the morning." So there you go. That's excellent.
Yeah. You're going to get to see whatever it is that happens, and it'll be exciting stuff. I mean, I'll tell you. the best thing that could have happened for the Guardians happened, and maybe
Yeah.
they'll. The problem with the Guardians is that they can easily become a station to station team because a lot of little line drive singles, and invariably when they get long balls, that's when they're really doing good. They can't count on that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Josh Naylor is on vacay. I don't know what he's doing, but he's
Yeah.
getting up in the count and then swinging at balls that are in the dirt, and he's swinging as hard as he can, like the mighty Casey. And he
Well,
is
yeah,
striking out.
when his helmet flies off his head every other swing, then you know there's a
Yes.
problem.
And
You know? I mean, only
yeah.
Oscar Gamble used to do that, and he had an excuse. He had a fucking 70s afro, so that was all right for him, but not all right for Naylor.
And Christopher Milton brings up the shadows. The shadows, I'm not sure when that
later in the afternoon,
that's
not 1
right.
o'clock.
And so if 1 o'clock, if you have a 3-hour baseball game, that's not going to become a real factor in this whole thing.
Yeah, it's much better to have Screwball pitch at 1 o'clock than fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
I think the Guardians have a chance. And you know what series it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Jarrett Wright Yankees series, where we weren't predicted to do shit in that one, and Jarrett Wright came through, and we never heard from again. But anyway, that's another story. But we fucking beat the Yankees on timely hits and Sandy Alomar and all that shit. And I think it could have happened again. The amazing stat from yesterday, and there was hundreds of amazing stats, but the one about the Guardians losing elimination games ever since 1997, that was the first one that they won.
11
That was
straight, and that
mental.
broke the string. Yep.
So I think that once you break the schneid, as Tony the Calf would say, then you're free, isn't it?
Well, I think that it gives you more confidence in the fact that you bought a ticket back to Cleveland. So now you have an opportunity, assuming the fans show up, you have a chance to get something done. The question is, Carpenter, is he going to try to play? They need him.
Oh, you know what I was worried about? Him having a Josh Gibson moment where he just hobbles up to the plate and then fucking
right.
bangs the home run.
Anything's in play, and everything's in play right now. So if you need extra arms out of the bullpen, do not be surprised if at some point in the game, because if they're counting on Boyd to be the starting pitcher, that's going to be a real tough thing. Gavin Williams is on the roster, and he is a 97-mile-an-hour fastball thrower. Don't be surprised if you see little guest appearances from players like that on the mound, because they've been using the same pitchers every game, the same exact rotation. And thank God we haven't seen Eli Morgan down on the farm.
Eli's going.
Yeah, dude, not going to bring him into the game. No. Now, C.O. Dead says he's underwhelmed with Jose Ramirez. Well, I sure like.
Oh my God.
He hit a home run, and he has just missed 2 by hooking the ball. That one ball that he hit started out
like
well in fair
run.
territory, and it hooked like an incredible amount before it got to the stands. But what I'm seeing is he's starting to get the trajectory back, and he has been a Tiger killer in the past. And if he is able to elevate the ball, I don't mean popping out, because that's what he's been doing, but he starts hitting line drives, it could mean bad news for the Tigers, because what I'm seeing in his swing right now, there's much more of the proper trajectory on these balls, even the foul balls.
Well, what wouldn't surprise me is we knock old Scrotum out early, that he comes out there and he's tight and he starts throwing stuff into the zone, and we just bash the fuck out of him in like the first inning or the second inning. That would be hilarious. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Well, I mean, it's if you're a fan of the Guardians and you've watched them all year, like
Yeah.
I have,
You
and
have.
I've watched every game.
Mark.
Yep. I mean,
Tell me how many games you've watched, Mark.
every single one of them. And
I've had to wheel your wheelchair in front of the TV every game.
yeah, it was painful. You could see that second half of the season. It was like the fire being extinguished from a team that was hotter than hell. And then all of a sudden, after the All-Star break, it just went away. But we're seeing signs of Quan getting himself back together. And the way he's getting himself back together is going to the opposite field and just putting the ball in play. And what it's going to mean is if he can get on, and I noted that in his RBI single that Lane Thomas,
Wayne
Thomas,
Thomas.
yeah, he went opposite field to get the 2-out single that got the first
He
run
did.
home. And this is what they have to do. Stop being pull happy and just take what's given them. And you got to take some chances on the bases. And it's I understand that if somebody like Manzardo gets on base that he's unbearably slow, or Naylor, who is now 70 pounds overweight, I understand that those guys
He's a
aren't
big
gonna
boy.
run. But it's going to be imperative that the Guardians get in the scoring position any way they can, getting to second base and taking chances. Better that you get thrown out at the home plate trying than just letting Odor just stay there going, stop, and then watching, Josh Naylor swing at balls that are in the dirt and missing. Jimenez has not been effective at the plate at all. He's got to go back to stop pulling the ball and going the opposite way. And that's when the long balls come, is when you just relax and barrel the ball up. Team's been very tightly wound and they're not doing what they need to do.
Well, I think now they go into this game as an underdog only because of the starting pitching, but maybe that will free their minds to be better players. I don't know. I got one question about the Browns. Has the Haslams been kicked out of town yet, or they've sold the team? They haven't. I don't really want to talk about them.
Well, and we got it out of the way at the beginning of the program. They have no chance of winning on Sunday. It's bad enough I have to sit there and watch the shit, and then I have to come and do
I didn't last week.
halftime and post game, and have to face up to all the negativity. But I stopped caring, and the reason is because this is all about the egos of Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski, and the refusal to change their way of thinking. And things are so changing as far as the landscape of professional sports. You cannot play the same way that you played 5 years ago, because there are things that have changed. There are defensive concepts that have changed that stop that Kevin ball from working. Everybody knows the deficiencies in his thinking, and without clear thinking from a second and third source, it ain't possible.
We have no chance.
No.
I mean, I'm looking at the draft rankings, and we're right up there. So we lose another one to the Eagles, then that's another closer to a draft pick. But it means nothing because we'll have the same organization if we don't get the Haslams out.
And Mo, have you listened to Bernie Kosar at all on that other show?
I try not to listen to Bernie Kosar because it reminds me of the dangers of playing football. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, he was saying today that he wouldn't change out Watson. He says they need to change their play call and they need to run the ball. But I was surprised that he's not on board with changing out Watson. He says it's not going to make any difference because the play calling's so bad. He says they're a running team. They're not a spread offense, and they continue to do that. And he says unless they change and keep their backs in, he says it doesn't matter who's in there. They're not going anywhere with it. So
Well,
was just,
a few
I was
years ago,
surprised.
who was that idiot that we had as offensive coordinator a few years ago that wanted to bring in the Air Coryell system, and that like fucking horribly failed for like about a year or so.
Well, I
What,
mean, it's one.
kitchens?
I mean, who knows? I mean, we've had people coming in, and if you don't have the personnel, or you got to have teachers first of all. And if you don't
Yeah.
think that teaching is important, just look at our offensive line when we
Yeah,
lost
no
Callahan.
Callahan. They're
right.
they're idiots now. They've gone
Te-
stupid.
Teachers make for good students, and right now the coaching isn't good. And as far as the offensive scheme is concerned, it's predictable. And if you're averaging 1 yard for 3 downs
Yeah.
per possession, which is the facts, if that's what's happening, then you either are unable to do what you're being asked to do, or the other team knows what you're going to do before you do it.
Yeah.
And
Or both.
And there is no element of surprise because Stefanski is just so stuck inside his own head. And, it's you've got Haslam stuck in his head. You've got DePodesta stuck in Haslam's ass. You've got Stefanski stuck in his own head, and players who are just forlorn because they're not going to see the ball. Wide receivers aren't going to see the ball if they're not open.
Yeah. My question is, how many losses in a row does it take for this fan base to actually get riled enough to get rid of the Haslams? And there are ways to get rid of
We
him.
already went through 0-16, 1-15, and 0-16 back to back, and he's
but
you're never going to get rid of them.
No.
You can. You can. Okay. What they do
Don't show
is
up.
they cannot show up. They can boycott. They can put a picket line in front of Berea and get on the national news. It'd take 100 Browns fans to block the entrance to Berea. They wouldn't be able to access the site without going around a picket line. Imagine the publicity of that. They could
people are not
going to
get arrested for that. I mean,
exactly, but
it's a lot easier to find
why do
some
they get
crazy
arrested?
motherfucker to take
Why
a
can't
shot
you have
at
a
him.
free country?
What the
Why
hell?
can't you have a free country of protest?
It's a free country for a man who bought the business to run it the way he wants to. And unfortunately, that's Jimmy Haslam. He's going to run it the way Jimmy Haslam does, and the team will never be successful. It's no different than Woody Johnson in New York. I don't know. So they let go their offensive coordinator to bring in some other bozo.
And they got rid of Saleh. Now, why'd they get rid of him?
Yep, and everybody is going to take the fall, but Woody Johnson just sits back there and plays with his dick. This is the way it is, and it's unfortunate. But as long as Browns fans are willing to pay the freight, then
exactly. Don't show up. Don't pay. Protest.
Yeah,
That's how you
don't
get rid
show
of
up to the games. That would be good enough right there.
That won't happen.
Yeah,
we love the Browns no matter what. We love them. We don't like Haslam, but we love the Browns.
I don't love the Browns. I'm sorry. I don't like it when somebody who runs a business scammed in his other business people who had rebate checks coming to them, a dishonest man, and a man who bullies people, who has an ill temper, and a person who makes statements and doesn't back those statements up with anything. And then he wants to come at you with a dome that you're going to fund for him.
Exactly.
I don't like him.
Go. He needs to go for that.
It doesn't matter. I can't say that he needs to go. What I can say is I don't like him, and I will not support him.
He also hires competent people too. That also runs the business badly.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what it is.
Well, and, you know that guy Crawford who's on the panel. He's been with him for a while. Announcer.
No.
Crawford. Anyways, he's on board with. He thinks it's being run by Haslam and Podesto, and that's why Stefanski's a puppet, and he believes that, and most of the panel kind of does too. And I know you've said that, you've alluded to that. I've always found it hard to believe that Haslam is running it, But
Well, let's go back to Ted Stepien, and the NBA got rid of him when he destroyed the team and was hurting the NBA. If it gets cleared to the NFL that Haslam is hurting the NFL by having this franchise have 50,000 angry fans causing issues, then maybe the NFL will find some dodgy emails that Haslam has written over the years and leak those out to the public and say, oh, well, he's not really a good guy after all. We're going to have to get rid of him or get some other ownership group in to save the team. So I'm sure there's probably ways to go about.
There's a level of incompetence. And with Ted Stepien, it was just incredible. When a guy stands there and says, what we need is more white players, and
exactly. If they found something out like that,
you get rid of Campy Russell for a can of Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, and you get rid of whoever your qualified players were, and you run it into the ground. You want to know how bad Ted Stepien was? The NBA gave the Cavaliers
draft picks,
total resuscitation because they were dead on arrival, and that's how they got all the picks. And you want to know something? They picked the right people, and that's the thing about the Browns. Even if they lose 16 games, 15 games, or whatever they lose, they're not going to pick the right people. The NBA was smarter, and they put a guy like Wayne Embry in who knew what in the hell he was doing, and you put in the people in the front office, and suddenly you're drafting Hot Rod Williams in a second round situation, and you get him when it wasn't clear
Ron
that he was going to be
Harper
allowed to play.
All that.
You got Harper, you got Mark Price in the second round. I mean, these were amazing picks. So they took advantage as an organization. And you know what? And I'm not going to say this in a mean way, but it's Gordon Gund was blind, but he had more vision than Kevin Stefanski and Jimmy Haslam, because he knew how to hire people and delegate responsibilities to competent people, so they drafted the right players. It's just that simple. We don't have anyone with a brain in that organization.
So NFL going to let us completely crater out then before they actually step in and do anything, or because now is the time to step in and do something before it fucking smashes into the ground and hurts the league.
Did they back years ago, the woman who ran the Rams, wasn't she forced out?
Yep.
Was she?
Wow.
Yeah, and then there was Marge Schott in Cincinnati for the Reds, and
who should have been.
Yeah, I mean, if Jimmy Haslam dies, God rest his soul, D. Haslam's going to be running the team. You can guarantee that 100%.
Yes.
And no one ever says that anywhere on any media program. So, it's not Jimmy who's the fault. It's the pair of them that are the fault. You can't get rid of one without getting rid of the other one. The whole family has to go. So...
again, it's easy to sit there and you're not going to be able to plan a coup or anything like that. What it comes down to is Sunday comes around, I watch the game calmly.
Revolution.
I don't get into cheering or anything like that. I just sit and watch, and then when it's over or half's over, I come here and I sit down and do that. And then when the game's over, I come and do the post-game show. And I just let it rip the way I'm feeling, and that's how I get it all out of my system. And then I'm done. And
I
last
totally
night I was
that.
cheering for the Guardians. I was like, come on, man, come on. And I'll tell you, when the home run went over the wall, I'm like, yes. And and then when the squeeze bunt, yes. And I'm like, come on, man, we got these people in the seats quiet now, man. Their fans are like, oh my God, we got to go back to Cleveland. And then they got that double. I'm going, oh no. But when he struck out the last hitter, and it's like, we're going back to Cleveland. And you couldn't have a better situation, even though you got to play against Skubal, which is tough. You couldn't have a better position from where you were after giving up the 3-run home run and falling behind 2-1 with another
Yep.
game in Detroit, you couldn't be in a better position than the Guardians are now.
Are in now. Yeah, it's
So-
a lot like that. Again, a lot like that Yankees series. I mean, I think David Cohn would pitch that game against Jarrett Wright or some really stud Yankee pitcher that they had back in those days, and we weren't meant to beat them, and we did. So
You never know.
yeah.
I mean, it can literally, the team could catch fire. You never know, or they could just lay down. You just
well, I don't think
know.
they're going to lay down.
But I'll tell you one thing. 30, they said 33-11. That's
Yeah.
the record of the Tigers in their last 44 games of the season.
That's
right?
amazing. That's
This team
750.
was on fire and heading in the right direction. And by all accounts, we're going to blow out the Guardians. The Guardians have hung in like grim death, and they have a chance. Now, it may not be a great chance with the pitcher who's pitching, but one more game is one more game, and you buy yourself that one more game. And what I'm proud of is that the team managed to maintain its composure and identity on foreign soil and get that win. And now the question is, will there be this catharsis, and whether, are they going to say, what the hell? We're going to go for broke. We got nothing to lose because we're pitching against the best pitcher from the American League, the Cy Young Award future guy, who's got to get the award at the end of the season. And, we got nothing to lose. We're just going to, if we get men on base and if he walks people, we're going to steal second base. We're going to force them to earn this game. That's what
we should be the loose team, basically. We should be the loose team.
Got nothing to lose. And nobody expects, and again, if you're going against the Yankees, doesn't matter which team does. Kansas City already found out. Every call goes against you, and Major League Baseball wants the Yankees in. They want Aaron Judge in. They want Giancarlo Stanton in. They want these people in their televised finals and into the World Series. That's what they want.
Absolutely.
So this is, in my mind, our
World
championship series.
Yeah.
This is, for us, the opportunity to try to bring it together in one game. Can they do it? And maybe not, but hey, it's fun. The ride is fun getting here.
Yeah, and no one should belittle if they do lose tomorrow. No one should say, "Oh, they should have done this, should have done that." They should.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I thought they were going to be 70-92 at the start of the season, so I didn't think it'd be like 92-70 like it turned out to be. So
no,
so God bless them. Yeah.
I got to get out of here because my schedule calls for it. John, thank you for being here.
Thanks,
Moose.
I'm glad your house is okay, and Dickie V and Dwayne Staten are all hanging in there.
I'm gonna do backstroke, baby.
You guys didn't flood at all, did y'all, during either hurricane? No.
Huh?
Did during Helen or Milton, y'all didn't flood or anything in your area? Did y'all?
In our area, I mean, 15 miles away, it's underwater. But we sustained a little bit of lanai damage, but nothing water-wise. No,
nothing like
and nothing structurally of the house itself. No. So we were very
nothing
fortunate.
that will affect premiums or whatever.
Very, very fortunate. The winds were up at around 80 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and we never lost power here.
No, neither did we.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Wow.
A lot of people in Florida did, though. A lot of them up at Tampa way.
And Northport lost power.
Yeah. Well, they never had any power to begin with.
Right.
Just people down there peddling,
Power to the people. Revolution.
Yeah. I really got to get out of here because my schedule is tight here. Thank you, John. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And let's see what happens this weekend. I'll be back with you again at halftime of what's supposed to be a professional football game.
I ain't gonna watch it. So
see you at the half on Sunday. Go Guardians, man.
Go
at
Guardians.
108 tomorrow. Be there and watch it, man. Buy the tickets out. Some businessman, buy all the tickets out. Don't let Detroit fans walk in there.
Oh, we don't want to
let
see
that
Eminem
happen.
like dancing around there. We don't want to see Eminem there.
We'll all be watching that and keeping our fingers crossed for the Guardians. Thanks, everybody. And until Sunday, Hasta la vista, Pasture Heads. Good night.
See you later.
Bye.